Hello everyone, I'm Gwen, and don't mind my appearance. Yes, I look like a fortune teller. And it's not just that. Now I'm going to tell you my absolutely crazy story about how my life changed drastically after one incident. I did something I would never have dared to do if not for one thing. Well, just watch and listen. Well, as I said, my appearance is not quite usual. I always wear rings on my fingers, they're all black and carry certain energy. Some of them I found, some bought, and actually made a few of them myself. Truthfully speaking, I had a grandma who came from a witching family. Grandma always knew what would happen tomorrow, and one time she even managed to predict her date of death. No, she wasn't scared. She believed that such was her fate, which meant that she just needed to accept that. My grandma taught me a lot. Fortune telling on cards or coffee grounds. By the way, I did tarot card readings for all my friends about their relationships with boys, and everything came true. Grandma wanted to teach me more powerful fortune telling using cards and bones. She did not tell me where she got them from, but for as long as I can remember, they always lay in her house in a special place. My grandma always said that if you knew when your last day would be, the main thing was not to be upset, but to just do the things that you always wanted. And then she was gone. I was somehow mentally prepared, but she did not tell anyone when she would die. In the morning of that very day, she gave me all her things as well as a book which I could use to learn witching, including the most powerful techniques. After the funeral, I came home and opened her chest. I took the things I needed and began to lay out the cards. I knew that something big was waiting for me, but I still could not understand what it was. Having laid out the cards again, I realized that we would soon change our place of residence, and a week later, my parents came to me. They said that my dad was offered another job and we needed to move. I smiled. So we did. We moved to a different city, bought a new house, and I changed schools. The new environment distracted me a little bit from the idea that grandma was gone. Well, then the inevitable happened. I fell in love. His name was Alex. He was the most popular boy in school, and he was not at least interested in people like me. He liked girls who were popular and cute, and it broke my heart, but I did not lose hope. And one time, when I accidentally ran into him on the way home, it turned out that we were neighbors. On the way home, we talked a lot, and I told him about my witching abilities. He thought it was amusing, but did not believe it. I immediately did a reading for him and said that soon they would have a big purchase in his family. We said goodbye and he forgot about it until his dad bought a car. Alex came up to me shocked. He said that he had never expected this, and neither did his parents themselves. It's just that his dad accidentally found a cheaper car from a colleague and immediately bought it. I was so pleased with myself. By the way, I could not get along with that many people. Everyone considered me, well, a bit gloomy. I could try to get along with them, but I did not have the courage or the desire. After this incident, I realized that my feelings towards my classmates were getting more serious, but he no longer approached me. I don't know if he was scared or just did not feel the same as me. I was so sad because of all this. And then one evening, I decided to open my grandma's book again and came across some notes in it. Suddenly, I saw a date of death spell, and it caught my attention. To be honest, I was very scared, but I understood that this would maybe help me get my life organized. But as I did everything according to the instructions, my eyes froze, my ears started ringing, and I began to choke. I could not believe what I saw. Just imagine, I have 7 days to live. Only 7 days. I couldn't concentrate, I cried, I felt so creeped out, and I did not know what to do with myself. I could not tell anyone about this because my mom was against fortune telling. For a couple of hours, I just sat there and looked at the number, and then I thought about my grandma's words that reality must be accepted. Then I pulled myself together and made a list of things that I wanted to do in such short time. The very next day, having arrived at school, I entered the classroom full of confidence, held my breath, and kissed Alex right in front of everyone. We froze in shock. And then everyone was laughing at us. Alex was embarrassed. He wanted to say something, but at that moment, the teacher came in. Everyone sat down and stared at me throughout the lesson. I pretended to be unbothered as if nothing had happened. And then, during the break, a crowd of people approached me. They showered me with questions, and I honestly told them that I was just a fortune teller and kept silent about the rest. They immediately began to ask me if I could do a reading for them as well. So I agreed. On the same day, a crowd of people came to my house. My mom was very surprised, but delighted because she thought that they were my friends. She thought that the move had a positive effect on my communication skills. I did readings for everyone, and a few hours later, when everyone left, my mom came to me. I wouldn't say that we were very close before then, but suddenly something changed in me. I did not want to leave this world with resentment in my heart and decided to talk to my mom. No, not a word about that. I talked about her and I. Mom was shocked at how distant we were. She cried when she learned that I wanted to hear not rules or commands, but more love and support from her. From that moment on, it became completely different. My mom became more interested in my life, and I liked it. For the first time in my life, we went shopping together, and I chose outfits that were not typical for me. The very next day, I came to school in a new look, with a new hairstyle, and I had a manicure, and I was so happy with my changes. When the teacher called me to answer, I did not say it quietly like I used to, but I said it loudly, and we debated about history, and he gave me a good grade. Yes, I studied well, but because I was so shy, I could never answer anything. In a couple of days, I gained popularity with my fortune telling at school, and every second person said hi to me. Alex came up to me after school and asked what it all meant. I said bluntly that I'd liked him for a long time. He was a bit embarrassed by my directness, but then, you will not believe it, but he felt the same way. At that moment, I suddenly began to cry. Suddenly, I felt so sorry that I had only a few days left, because my life was just beginning, and the changes in my life were so positive. I wanted to love and be friends with people. I kissed him again, and he asked me out on a date. The evening was magical, but I didn't do everything I wanted. The next day, I went to my dad's work and advised him not to make a deal with the new investors. For a long time, my dad could not understand what was going on, but I just said to trust me. I did not expect this, but he listened to me, and then it turned out that those people were scammers. In the evening, my dad gave me a new phone as a thank you gift. We had a family dinner which I had dreamed of for a very long time, but I still had so many things to do. In just a couple of days, I did so many things I planned. To save the life of a homeless dog, I wanted to save a homeless dog, so I did. I took it to my house. I got into a group of activists at school and we did charity sales. I helped a person from our class. I knew that they had a crisis at home and that they were looking for money to buy medicine for their dad. So I sold my new phone and gave her the money. Also, Alex and I traveled all over the city, just enjoying the weather. Then he took me to go karting. We jumped with a parachute and he taught me how to drive a car. And at the end of the day, we ate hot dogs, sitting on the hood of his car. I wanted to live. It was the last day of my life. And, saying goodbye, Alex kissed me, and then I could not stop crying. He was surprised and asked me what was going on, but I did not say anything. I just hugged him tightly and went home. He promised to pick me up in the morning before school, but he did not know that I would not come. I went home, hugged my parents, and chatted with them for the last time. I told my dad about work and gave him advice, kissed them, and went to my room. And I woke up in the morning from Alex's call. He was waiting for me at the door. Can you imagine? I'm alive. I don't know, maybe I did something wrong, but I stayed alive and now I have a wonderful new life. It only took 7 days to change it, guys. It happens, so just go for it and change it for the better. There is nothing better than just living your life.